What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we are back here with some more CWC match review number 33 between India and I want to say the second coming of the Romanian national cricket team. I don't know what the hell happened here. For the third time this year, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Sri Lanka has been bowled out for under 60 against India, of course, once in the Asia Cup final just a month ago and then tonight, and I think there was once earlier this year as well. I'm not going to lie, fellas. Kusal, look at me right now. Do not watch this video. I know you're a big fan of the channel, but today would not be one you want to watch. India completely trounced Sri Lanka in just one of the more dominant World Cup performances you will ever see. I was going to say could, but will ever see. 302-run victory. Bowl Sri Lanka out in under 20 overs, like T20 match, but I guess Sri Lanka think differently. And just overall domination. This is going to be a bit of a quicker one because that's how the Sri Lankan batting order did go. So hey, if you guys are new around here, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and comment down below all of your thoughts on this one. What is there to say? I mean, gee whiz, did India bowl well? They batted really well. They fielded really well. Sri Lanka, pretty much the opposite of all three of those categories. I thought there was one decent bowler for the Sri Lankans, but that was about it. So, let's get into it. Come on, let's get into it. As a neutral supporter, of course, I love seeing India, win and win big. That's, obvious. But not like this. This is just a train wreck of a performance. Like, I understand, but as a neutral, I wasn't expecting the closest of nail-biting finishes, but I was expecting a fight, a scrappy sort of match, somewhere where Sri Lanka kept putting the pump on and made India have to earn a victory. I mean, they could have done this with their C or D team out there. But anyways, let's get into it. Player of the match, Mohammad Shamgod, 5 for 18 off just 5 overs, by the way. And the most important, 2 runs off 4 balls. So very inspirational. But the Shamgod, I believe he now has the most wickets for India in World Cup history as well. So he is one of the great World Cup bowlers ever, up there with Glenn McGrath. And to think this man wasn't even in the starting 11 at the beginning of the World Cup, like, mind-boggling stuff. Injury gave him opportunity from Pandya. He takes his opportunity. He will never get removed from this team, at least for the rest of this World Cup. And if he does, us in the channel, we're going to be at the front of Jay Shah's house and start a riot, because if he gets dropped, we won't be having it. He is the man. He's a game changer. He's so consistent with his line and length. And to think that this man has had a big last 12 to 18 months with his personal life and just continues to effing dominate the way he is, it makes me feel really well. Some poorer dismissals, but nonetheless, he bowled incredibly well and deserved every single wicket he got. Let's get into it. India into bat first. They set 357, which was always going to be tough to chase down. Not like they did. All right, let's get into it. India, Hitman Sharma. Look, Kohli went out a bit cheaply in the last game. Hitman decided, all right, you do that. We're both taking a bit of a leadership role to give other players opportunity. I respect it. And that's just a real captain sort of stuff right there. So look, you have to take your turns. He saw the vision of this game. I get it. Get the extra rest for the next big game. Shubman Tendulkar, you just knew the man was going to perform with Sachin and Sara in the crowd. I mean, he was always going to do it. He was going to do something. And I'm not going to lie, people were upset that he didn't get 100. I think this is what he wanted. He was proud to go out in the 90s and just give a little tribute to Sachin up in the crowd and say, hey, that one's for you. Because we know Sachin had like 20 plus scores where he went out in the 90s. So that's just a nice touching tribute. I love that. He played beautifully. That partnership between him and Kohli really just set up this entire Indian innings for Iyer, KL, Surya, Jadoo to come out and just have a swing at the ball, didn't it? So just massive stuff early, that partnership. And Gilly looking great. Really, they both really did go at a runner ball for most of their innings, and by the time both of them just got past really 35-40, it was on for all money, boundaries. And Kohli, we're not used to seeing maybe a Kohli 11 fours, not even a 6 involved there, but the man loves to run cardio, so just plenty of hard 2s and hard 4s amongst it. 88 off 94. Him and Shubman, look, of course, we wanted both of them to get their hundreds, but both were some pretty cheap wickets as well. But look, you put on 170 plus between each other. you're putting your side in a really good position, of course, other than the personal milestones. The 1 wicket here from Gill, he just tried too late at it, didn't know it was going to be slower, tried to slice at it, gone through to Kusal. And then Kohli, of course, well, he didn't really read it at all. He just got on top of it and then popped it straight up to not to Madhushankar. He was the bowler, to Nissanka in close. So that was a cheapish wicket. A few fell. And just a slight momentum push to Sri Lanka. Maybe they could have resurrected something. No, sir. Shreyas Iyer then decided, all right, fuck this. We're coming out here and we're just going to swing. If my position is at risk in this team, I'm going to make runs and I'm going to do it quickly. He's not getting removed from this team. 82 off 56, 3 4s and 6 6s. He started off with the very first ball, I think it was, that went for 4 or 6, and he just continued right there. And did he get tested out with enough short balls? Not really, in my opinion, but just the way he played was phenomenal. And I mean, that's a T20 knock, and it's hard not to say that his favourite shot, if I asked him, what is your favourite shot? My guess would be down the ground, straight over the bowler's head for fucking 6, because I think he hit about 4 of those last night, straight over the bowler's head for damn 6, straight into the sight screen, into the crowd. There was a few pulls amongst it. It was, you know what, beautiful viewing. And for someone who's not known for their pull shot, seeing him play 1 or 2 that did go for 6 was probably pretty encouraging, I reckon, for his fans. All right, just a little quick intermission in the middle of this game review. I actually just finished recording this entire match review. It went for 19 minutes. I actually thought it was one of my better reviews. I had a lot to say. I actually went on a massive rant about the Sri Lankan batsmen and bowling and just their overall team setup. I then went to put it in the editing and realised half of it was completely robotic. If you've been around the channel long enough, you understand we've had this problem before. Took his spot once Pandya comes back, but he's pretty dangerous at number 4, isn't he? And we know what it's just fucking unlistenable. So it's pissed me off. I then went and recorded the memes episode, and now I'm coming back to record the second half of this match review. So if it seems like less excitement than the first half or a bit jumbled, that is why. We're going to jump back into it. I was actually talking about Shreyas Iyer and how well he played, and people were calling for him to be possibly replaced, and he comes out, proves his worth. He's not going anywhere. Looked terrific. KL Rahul, look, no orange cap on display here. He's not going to go large, but 21 off 19. He just had none of this Indian tail order per se. I mean, it's not a tail order, it's the middle order, but it almost is the way that India's just setting platforms and batting at the moment. Late in the game's play, guys like KL, Surya, Jadu, they're not even being relied on with massive responsibility because they're coming out at the 45th, 35th over, just ready to start swinging the bat and build on the platform they've already been given. So the confidence is running high in this batting team. You can just see it. Surya, he started off with a sexy punch down the ground for 4. It was beautiful. You know, he is one of my all-time faves in this current day of cricket. Like, he's just completely different cricketer, unique. And he just seems like one of the all-time good guys. Goes for 12, hits 2 4s. Doesn't matter. He was out there to try and have a swing. The only thing I think with him is the way Iyer's playing, he doesn't go anywhere in this team. Once Pandya is fit, he comes straight back in for Surya. And that's probably just the change, isn't it? So it's a little bit unfortunate for Surya, but to have someone like him on the bench in case of an injury is pretty good. Jadu, 35 off 24. This is the most work he's had to do with the bat, what feels like all damn tournament. 35 off 24. He was great. Sham God, 2 off 4. And inspirational Jasprit Bumrah, 1 for 1 off the end. So 20 extras here for Sri Lanka. Not good enough. I'm going to try and reincite my talkings that I had before about Sri Lankan bowling and batting lineup. Let's get into it. A highlight. So a positive to start off with the Lankans bowling lineup. Dilshan Madhushankar leading the wickets tally for this entire tournament. So he's been fantastic. A little bit expensive, but the fact that he's the only one who can take a fucking wicket for this team, you feel pretty happy with that. He's been awesome. Potential IPL contract building if he keeps this up. And if you haven't, jump on my Twitter and scroll down for like a day or two ago. I actually posted a GIF or a GIF, like those moving images of Madhushankar bowling Gurbars a few days ago. It was one of the best deliveries of this World Cup. And then we seen the same thing against Rohit Sharma last night. It just completely cut the man in half and bowled him. And he looks fantastic, doesn't he, at the top? He looks bloody awesome, gets a bit of movement. He looks strong. He looks he's a good bowler. What else can I say? 5 for 80 off 10. Dushmantha Chameera, 1 for 71 off 10 with 2 maidens. Don't ask me how that happened. Rajitha, none for 65 off 9. Angelo Matthews, the man is pushing 75 and he still is relied on to bowl 3 overs. None for 11. Thikshana, CSK royalty. Someone's going to get him to have a chat with MS Dhoni because he needs to start taking some more wickets. None for 67. And Dushan Hamantha. So look, there was nothing here for the spin today. As you can see, pretty apparent from the statistics. And then Hamantha, none for 52 off 8. So look, it's not a horrible bowling performance by any means. Like 357 from India, it's great. You expect that they defend that, but you never know. It's cricket, it's 50 overs. If Kusal Mendis just starts on fire or Nissanka goes big again, you can chase down anything. That is just cricket. But let's get into it. This is where the real trouble starts to brew. India batted really well. Sri Lanka did not field all that well. They had a few chances to take Kohli's wicket early, to take Gill at one point. They had a few drops in there. It just was not a good displaying performance. But you think you've got to come out here and you've got to start well. First ball, Nissanka's out LBW. Don't bother reviewing that. On your bike back home to Colombo, Nissanka. He's been really good. Not today. That was a gem of a delivery. So you're 1 down already, 1 for none. Not great. The next over, Mohammad Siraj starts. He's got Karunaratne done LBW first. Rock. Kusal Mendis is out there. He gets a fucking Jaffa from Mohammad Siraj. Takes out his peg and the skipper's gone. He can't make runs as captain now all of a sudden. And it is crumbling before their very eyes. Before we talk about the fall of wickets, there's one player and one shot that we need to speak about, and this is what actually caused my yelling riot in my last attempt of this match review. Sadira Samara Wikarama, I don't know who you think you are. You're not prime Jack Callis or some shit. When your team, he came in at 2 for 2 after 1.1. Let's keep that into perspective. This man came out to bat. His team were 2 for 2 after 1.1 over. If it was you, what would be your game plan? Go out there, just try and make contact with bat to ball potentially, keep it along the ground, nothing silly. You need to stay out there and build a partnership. He decides about 4 deliveries into his innings, he's going to play it at a tall one that bounces and try and fucking cut it and whip it. You're an idiot. You're out. You're gone for 4. You've played one of the worst shots I've ever seen. You shouldn't even be playing local grade cricket with some shit like that. I mean, seriously. Like, it was poor. It wasn't an amazing delivery. He just gave that wicket away and really set the tone for this entire batting innings. Asalanka, brother, we're not playing test matches. I understand that you need to be out there and try build something for the team, but it's not going to get done when you're 1 off 24 with a strike rate of 4. I didn't even know that was mathematically possible, but here we are. Angelo Matthews. Again, the fact that he is 64 years old and still being relied on to bat and bowl and make a big impact in this team is just too much for my liking. Like, this would be like India using fucking, like, Sachin Tendulkar still in their team. It's like, you know, he's one of the greats, but it's time to move on, fellas. Come on. You know, like, like there's a point in time in someone's career where it's time to go play golf and, you know, barbecue. It might be it. But he still did second top score, so maybe not. Dushan, I keep going to say Dushmantha. Dushan Hamantha, none. Sham God was on a hat-trick. Chameera's gone for none off 6. Thikshana now, he's actually shown a little bit with the bat, but Sri Lanka just should not be relying on him to need to bat at all. And he's had to bat way too often. He's played some nice shots, but again, he just shouldn't have to be batting. He remains not out, but the game was done. Rajitha, 14. Madhushanka, 5. All out for under 20 overs. It's not good enough. Let's get into the fall of wickets, though. Like, 1 for none, 2 for 2, 3 for 2, 4 for 3, 5 for 14, 6 for 14, 7 for 22. Like, take that into perspective. This is not the Romanian national cricket team. This is a real professional outfit who get paid thousands of dollars to play cricket. I'm watching you, Sri Lanka. 8 for 29, 9 for 49. So honestly, 8 for 29, they could have collapsed for under 40. They're so damn lucky that Rajitha and Thikshana had the pride to actually hit some runs at the end, because it could have been the lowest World Cup score. And honestly, Sri Lanka wouldn't have been allowed back home after doing some shit like this. So they're lucky that they didn't have the lowest score of all time. But in their mental capacity, they should feel pretty bad about this. This was just crap. Let's get into the bowlers. I mean, as good as India bowled, as good as they fielded the pressure, Rohit Sharma's captaincy to keep 3 slips in early was smart. It was great. You just can't give away your wickets this easy. Like, it's just piss poor. Bumrah, I mean, he's doing Bumrah things, isn't he? 1 for 8 off 5, a maiden to kick things off. He's been superb. His return has been, we know, Siraj 3 for 16 off 7, 2 maidens. I mean, when the man Siraj has pulled out the Sue celebration by the 3rd over, the game's over. It definitely feels that way. Sham God 5 for 18 off 5 and is India's leading all-time wicket taker at World Cups. One of the great white ball bowlers ever at World Cup history. So take a bow, Sham God. You impress us every day just by breathing, and we love you. And to think that this man wasn't even a part of the starting 11 at the World Cup to begin with. He's not going anywhere now, that's for damn sure. Kuldeep Yadav didn't even have to do anything. He could have just gone over to Yuzi's house and played some PlayStation and had a rest. Jadoo, just looking dangerous as always with bat and ball and in field. 1 for 4 off 9.4, and that is how a dismal performance for Sri Lanka ends. If you're an Indian fan, you're feeling on top of the world, you're feeling undefeated, you're feeling invincible, you're feeling like nothing can stop you, except for maybe Temba Bavuma in the next game, but we'll get to that. Let's go into the table. And still, this is my highlight of my day every morning. England are still in 10th. Not going to qualify for the CT Trophy. You can forget it, fellas. And Joe Root, we do know what you said this morning about Australia, so we will be taking that into account. Bangladesh in 9th. It's time to go back home. Netherlands hopefully can get up to 7th and qualify for CT. Sri Lanka, I honestly would rather watch the UAE national team play. I mean, I've always liked Sri Lanka and everyone, but I know they've had injuries. But you cannot get bowled out for under 55 again against India on the big stage. It's just not good enough. Afghanistan on the toes of the Super Fours, similar with Pakistan. Of course, we do know there is some big games coming up, which we will get into. Australia 3rd, SA 2nd, and India not going to lose. They've decided, fuck this, we're not going to lose a single game. They sit 1st. But let's jump into the remaining fixtures. Just big games everywhere. It's about to decide who plays Super Fours and who books their private jets back home. New Zealand, Pakistan is the massive one tomorrow in my eyes. But nonetheless, Netherlands v Afghanistan today. If Afghanistan win that, they are right on the tails of that Super 4 group. If Netherlands win, then Afghanistan can go home. If New Zealand then win tomorrow, they kind of lock their spot in. If Pakistan win, it opens up their chance again. And then this one, which I feel like I haven't slept for about 72 hours just thinking about possible scenarios. This is arguably one of the biggest cricket rivalries. And we know England are a bunch of minnows right now. But you best believe they're going to bring their best for that exact game. That will be their final, no doubt about it. No Maxwell, no Marsh. I'm feeling a little bit unsafe. India, South Africa, top of the table. That could be anything. And then just the rest that will finish off this World Cup. I'm running out a bit of a breath here, but we will just finish off with the statistics. Number 1, Quinny Decay. At number 2 is now Virat Kohli after his great innings last night, averaging 88 if you don't effing mind. 442 runs. He's got a long way to catch Quinton, but he's been phenomenal. Rachin Ravindra, been awesome. David Candace Warner, similar. And Rohit Hitman Sharma didn't have to do much last night and still in 5th. So 2 Indians, 2 players from Australia, New Zealand, and then 1 from SA. So that is how that's happening. Madhu Shankar tops the wicket column now. He's been great. Bumrah's amongst it. Highest scores, we know. Best bowling figures. Mohammad Shamgod is on there twice. See the greatness of the great man right there. Batting average, yep. Kohli, KL. Bowling average, Shamgod, Bumrah. Most hundreds, Daylight. Most 50s, okay, most economical, Ashwin, Bumrah, Jadoo. So you can just see 5 wicket hauls as well, the Indian dominance amongst pretty much every single category. And we're not surprised of where they're sitting on the table due to that. So, hey, that will officially cap us off if I can get back to this match. India demolish Sri Lanka, send them back home to Colombo, go play some more LPL because that's what they decided to do before a big World Cup and Asia Cup. But hey, I hope we all enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Leave me all of your thoughts down below about this one, and I'll see everyone in the next one.